What's going on, guys? This is Dylan from DylanConradFitness.com.
And I am Dr. Melissa Diller.
And today what we're going to talk about is how to achieve a deeper squat. First, before we get into how to do that and 3 tips that we came up with that will give you instant depth to your squat, we're going to talk about why it's important to have a deep squat in the first place.
So the squat and being able to squat properly is actually one of the most fundamental movement patterns that a person can have. Being able to squat, it shows us how flexible your hips are, how your rib cage is moving, and how the lower body and the upper body actually coordinate with each other. And then you also have to think about how many times a day you're actually using those movements. So you should be squatting multiple times a day, whether it's to pick up your children or to carry groceries or go to the bathroom.
Yeah, go to the bathroom. Getting up and down from your car,
Yep.
sitting in a chair.
Yep.
You're using that pattern all the time, and if you're doing it wrong, you just got to think about how much wear and tear that's building on your body. So achieving proper squat depth is really important from just a functional exercise standpoint, but it's also important from a metabolic standpoint. The more muscle you're using, the more energy you're using, the higher your metabolism is going to be. So when you are not squatting all the way down, you're not activating the full amount of muscle that you have the potential to. But when you're squatting deeper, you're using more muscle, you're firing harder, you're recruiting more muscles. So you're getting your metabolism a lot higher and a lot more cranked up. So in terms of for building muscle, lean muscle mass, to burn body fat, achieving proper squat depth, a deep squat, is important. So what I always tell people, they always ask how deep should your squat be. I always say that the femur should be below parallel or at parallel. If you're not, that's too high. And you can go a little deeper as long as you're able to stabilize your core and your pelvis properly through the movement. So the first tip I'm going to give you that's going to instantly increase your squat depth is what's called bracing your core. What that is and why it's important is because you have your diaphragm, and it goes all the way around and lines up your core muscles, so the front abs, the obliques, and the extensors in the back, and all the diaphragm is connected to all the muscles. So it's kind of like if you think about a bridge and the guy wires that connect the actual bridge to what holds it up. That's really what your core. So when one part of those wires aren't working properly, you're not going to have a stable core. Your body seeks out stability. It wants to be stable, and that's why people get really tight. But if you don't have stability in your core, you're going to seek it out at your hips, which is going to inhibit your squat depth. So when you can get, the quickest way to get stable at your core is to actually fill it up with air and utilize that diaphragm, and then hold that throughout the entire movement. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a big belly breath, and you're going to make sure that you're not breathing at all into your chest. One drill you can do is to put a hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach, and you can make sure that all the air is just going into the stomach and not in your chest. So what you want to do is you want to take a big belly of air into your diaphragm, then squeeze your abs, squeeze the core muscle around that, hold your breath, go through the movement, and then come back up and breathe out. Now during the movement, you want to keep that core nice and stable by holding the breath, and that's what's going to help you squat deeper, and it's actually make you a lot stronger.
So the second tip that we have to increase your squat depth is one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people is they talk about jamming in the front of the hips. So a very simple exercise to do that you can actually do in between all of your sets for the squat is a simple hip mobilization drill. So you would get into a half kneeling stance, which is one leg bent and then on the other knee. And there are a few progressions. The easiest one is you can stabilize with your hand using a foam roller to the side. And the motion that you want to get is the knee that's bent and on the floor. You want to squeeze the hips, squeeze the glutes on the back side, and really drive through the front of that hip. And you'll feel the front side of that hip really open up. The second progression from that is to actually lift the kneeling foot up, and that will intensify that opening. And how you want to do it is you want to squeeze forward for a count of 2 and hold, relax, and let it go.
The third drill that's going to give you instant squat depth is A lot of times you see people squat and they're coming down here because they have no thoracic extension. So it's really important to have proper thoracic extension so you can descend deeper into that squat. What you're going to do is you can put the foam roller just under the shoulder blades, right at the thoracic spine, and you're going to bring your hands behind your head, elbows together, and you're going to drive your shoulders back to the ground. One thing you don't want to do is make sure that you don't tilt your head backwards so you're extending at your neck, and you also want to make sure that your elbows aren't flared out. You want to keep your elbows nice and close to the sides and not flare them out, because then you're not getting as much thoracic extension. The other thing is, just like we were talking about the hip mobilization drill, you don't want to get too much of a rib flare, because when you're getting too much rib flare, you're just getting lumbar and lower back extension and not thoracic mid-back extension. So you want to make sure that your ribs aren't flaring up and you want to keep them down. One good way to do that is to take a deep exhalation on your way back, and that will pin your ribs down, or you can just actively squeeze your ribs through the movement. Do about 3 mobilizations on each segment. You can start in the lower back and then kind of do 3 there, and then move back about 1 inch, 3 there, and move up, and just keep moving up on the spine until you feel a lot more freed up. If any of these drills don't really help you out during your squat pattern, then it's time to seek out more in-depth assessment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Dylan Conrad.
And I'm Dr. Melissa Diller.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.